This is section 4.5, graph using slope-intercept form. So remember, we already know two other methods for graphing, so this is our third method for graphing linear equations. Slope-intercept form is any linear equation of the form y equals mx plus b. So notice slope-intercept form. Remember, we already know that slope is represented by m. So intercept is the b, and that's actually our y-intercept. Then also, two lines are parallel if they do not intersect. And we know two lines are parallel if they have the same slope. Finding the slope and the y-intercept is the first thing we need to be able to do. So, given an equation y equals mx plus b, as long as it's in that form, in slope-intercept form, we know that the m has to be the coefficient of the x, and the b has to be the constant. So, in this example, y equals 1/3 x plus 1, 1/3 is our slope, and 1 is our b. So graphically, 1 is where our equation crosses the y-axis, and then if we use the slope, up 1 to the right 3, we find a second point, and that gives us the graph of our line. Okay, so identify the slope and y-intercept of the line. Y equals 3x plus 4. The first thing you have to ask yourself is this in slope-intercept form? Well, remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So, looking at that, it is already in slope-intercept form. So in this case, we just have to look for the coefficient of x and then the constant. So our slope m is equal to 3, and our b, our y-intercept, is 4. Again, identify the slope and y-intercept of the line. So 3x plus y equals 2 looks a little bit different. Notice in slope-intercept form, the x and the y are on opposite sides of the equal sign, but in this example, they're on the same side of the equal sign. So before we can identify the slope and the y-intercept, we have to put it in slope-intercept form. So the first thing I want to do is try to get y by itself. So you might remember that from solving literal equations. Same exact concept. We're trying to get y by itself so that it can be in slope-intercept form. So remember, because we need to move that x across the equal sign, we have to do it all at once. And since that's a positive 3x, I want to subtract 3x from both sides. So I'm left with y equals 2 minus 3x. Well, that looks a little bit different than our slope-intercept form. So remember, that's the same as 2 plus a negative 3x. And thanks to our commutative property of addition, we can rewrite that as negative 3x plus 2. And now, it is in slope-intercept form. So our m, our coefficient of x, is negative 3, and our b, our y-intercept, is positive 2. Okay, so if you know the slope and you know the y-intercept of an equation, you can use that to help you graph the line. So the first thing you have to do is make sure that the line is in slope-intercept form. And again, in this example, it is not in slope-intercept form. So we have to put it in slope-intercept form by subtracting 2x from both sides. And you end up with y equals negative 2x plus 3. So then again, my m, my slope, is negative 2, and my b is positive 3. So I can use that to graph. So since I know that the y-intercept is 3, that means it has to cross the y-axis at positive 3. So I can plot the point at 0, 3, and then use the slope to find a second point and draw a line through both points. Remember, you only need 2 points to graph a line. So knowing that my slope is negative 2, I can count down 2 and to the right 1 to find my second point, and then connect them to graph the line. So we'll try another one. Again, y plus 2x equals 5 is not in slope-intercept form, so the first thing you have to do is put it in slope-intercept form. Subtract 2x from both sides, and y equals negative 2x plus 5. So then, my slope is negative 2, my m is negative 2, and my b, or my y-intercept, is positive 5. Remember, to graph, you have to start with the y-intercept first, and then use the slope to find a second point. So I know on the y-axis, my line is going to go through positive 5. So I can put a point there. And then I'm going to use my slope to find a second point. So I can count down 2 to the right 1. And I can do one more just to give myself enough room. Down 2 to the right 1. Down 2 to the right 1. And then just connect the dots. So again, this is just another method for graphing. Since you only need 2 points, we can use the fact that we know the y-intercept and then use the slope to find a second point. And that's it for this section.